Bum 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 bum, dee dee dee, da da dum. Good morning, good morning. La da 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 da. Good morning to you. Good morning, everybody. I'm slightly nervous about putting my hands on the desk for fear of Facebook imagining I'm naked. What a laugh. They haven't come back to me yet at all about why they decided I was naked. Which I wasn't, by the way. Anywho, let's get on with it. Without further ado, let me put some things on my table. I'm coming on live to you now, which might feel like a very strange time, because I have my lovely women's group this afternoon, and I very much doubt I will be finished early. Good afternoon, good evening, Anne. Whereabouts are you? You must be in the States somewhere, I think. So anyway, we're going to do a bumper two. Also yesterday, I just had a lot going on yesterday, and so I thought, no, I'm going to come on this morning anyway. I will do 2 days in one this morning. So you've got me live this morning, and we will cross all fingers and toes that Facebook does not decide that I'm naked, which is what it did the other day, and cancel me. That would be fun, wouldn't it, if they cancelled me? So, Moments of Calm. Day 13 is conchology. That is the study of shells. And day 14 is about a galaxy. So let's start with the shells. Those of you who have seen my artwork before know that I am obsessed with painting mussel shells, and I actually find it such a lovely thing to do. And so I couldn't have done Moments of Calm, a series, without including the joy of painting a mussel shell, which is very simple. They're just fun to do. Fun. So I'm going to put those there. Grab yourself a shell. Don't just draw it from a painting. Everyone can find a shell somewhere, surely. Grab a shell, put it in front of you, and have a look at it, right? So when you're having this moment of calm, hi Paula, when you're having this moment of calm, just sit with yourself for 5 minutes and just hold a shell in your hands and look at it and feel it. I know I'm being a bit weird, but I'm offering you a moment of mindfulness, but also it's really good art practice to just have the actual thing in front of you that you're going to draw. And feel it, and feel the ridges, and feel the kind of textures and all that sort of thing. And then I promise you that your mind, while you're spending a good few minutes with it, is going to start to understand how to draw it. Now I'm going to just faff with my camera a minute. Hi there, Jerry. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do some conchology, the study of shells. And I'm going to show you how I draw my shells. I'm going to be doing it a little bit different than I normally do today, if I can find my tissue paper. Let me just go and get my kitchen roll. Somebody has moved it from my desk, as they do. obviously needing to use it to blow their nozzles. There we are. Right, so I've got my watercolours out, I've got my drawing pens out, and I've got a bit of cloth. My foot is better. I fell down my stairs and hurt my foot. So my poor crafty girls who were meant to meet yesterday couldn't meet. So let's get my paintbrush out and ready, which I had to glue the top on yesterday because it went all a bit funny. I'm going to get my blue paints out and my pink out is what I need. And I'm going to start quite simply with getting some blue paint. I don't want the textured side of my watercolour, I want the other side. Getting a nice pale blue paint, and I'm just going to draw the shape of a mussel shell, so up, round, and then like that. It's almost like an ear, right? I'm going to get that, and I'm going to just put some blues in it. That's all I'm doing to start off with. I'm not doing anything particularly clever with my drawing. Just adding some different shades and tones of blue, like that. I tell you what, let's also put a bit of brown in there. Put a bit of brown in there, and then I'm just going to let that sit just for a minute. All right, now can you see the paint wants to bubble and go over, but it doesn't because it will only go where the water goes. Aha. Now if I had my heat gun, I might possibly dry this off with a heat gun, but I have discovered that if you do layers with tissue paper, it's actually just as lovely. And you get some lovely shapes. So I'm patting that down. Now I've got my son texting me, so I'll just text him back. Right, so next colours. So now what I'm going to do is similar. So I'm going to get another shade of blue, and this time just splatter it. Can you see? I don't know if I can see that on camera. I'm just kind of tapping the top of my paintbrush, flicking it down. And it doesn't matter if you come outside your shape. All right. The joy of painting shells is their markings are so deliciously delightful. I love them. So we've got that layer, and I'm going to dry that off now. Again, just getting some of those splodges. And now I can start to paint it properly. Now what I don't want to do is draw outlines, okay? Because I'm going to do that with my black pen when it's dried properly. But what I do want to do is look at several of these shells and have a look and see how they form their colour. So we can see here that at the top I've got these ovals, these bands of colour in this kind of dark brown, and in between I've got these lighter blue shades, and that kind of makes my eye understand that this is a concave shape. And then here the same thing, I've got these bands of colour, the blue with little dark blue spaces, and then down the bottom here where that blue outer crust of the shell has peeled off, I've got this white area. The white we'll probably add later, but let's go in with some blue, with some brown, and just because we're us, I'm going to mix that brown with some blue because we can, and because then we get this really lovely rich colour. And because I've already got patination underneath here, I'm going to look at this. My brown comes right from the bottom, right from the bottom all the way up and down like that, and exactly the same all the way up, round, down. And what I notice is that as my lines come up and round, they get wider at the top and thinner at the bottom. Okay, thinner at the bottom. I come up with another one, and can you see I've left a little gap now? Just allowing those gaps to kind of form. And then I want to make it even darker, so I'm going to add some brown, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. And because my paint is wet, that colour bleeds in and starts to give us this lovely grungy look. I'm going to get the dark blue. I'm going to do exactly the same. So come up, we're going to leave a little gap, go round, down. Now ideally we might give this a little dry in between layers, but you don't have to. I'm now going to come in with this slightly brighter blue and start to create those shapes, that same oval shape. And you will be very surprised to see that the way that you move your paintbrush, so the fact that I'm doing these oval shapes persistently, when it dries, will bear fruit for you, all right? You will see that those lines matter. Let's put a little bit of dark blue up here as well. All those layers give us a huge amount of benefit. I'm now going to add this slightly paler blue, letting it bleed into all of those other colours, bringing it down. Right, really, really lovely shape. Can you see the shape that's forming? Isn't it yummy? Now, here's where artistic license takes over, because I want to add just a tiny, tiny bit of pink. And I'm not going to make this too watery, but I just want to do this. That's it. Okay, so let me show you what we've got so far. Okay, so a little mussel shell. So far we've got all of those yummy colours, and it's quite watery at the moment. So what I'm going to do is leave that. That's our conchology so far. We will do some other things to it, but we're going to move on now to the next day. So that's day 13, which was yesterday. We're going to move on to today's day, which is day 14. And we're going to do some galaxies. Yum, yum, yum. And we're going to start, as one would imagine, with some black. Because you can't have a galaxy without a night sky. So So let's find my pen. So this is gouache or Goake. I much prefer calling it Goake. And get a bit of tissue paper underneath here. Now gouache is lovely because it dries matte and it dries nice and quick. And I prefer, when I'm doing a galaxy, to use something matte as my black because of what I'm going to do next, which is I'm going to be smooching chalks on top of this black once it's dry enough. And as I said, gouache dries really quickly. It dries a bit like chalkboard paint. So just going over and over that, all different directions, making sure that that is nice and dry. Oh, I've just noticed that my phone has continued to type a message. And it's basically typed all of what I've just said to you guys. Right. Let's put that down there. And let's give that a little bit of something, right? Now, mainly what I'm going to use on this project, is my soft pastels, my chalk pastels. That's mainly what I'm going to use. However, which are these deliciousnesses, right? And we can use several colours. Let's get them out. Let's have pink. Let's have blue. I'm kind of going for the aurora effect. Did you all get to see the aurora? Did you get to enjoy her? She was a magnificent spectral being in the sky. My lovely son, in the first week of his new relationship with his very new girlfriend, and those of you who know him well know he's very into astrophysics, he and his girlfriend were out looking through his telescope when the aurora first arrived. How romantic is that? Can you imagine, girls, if your first date with your new boyfriend was to see the aurora? My lord. He's going to break some hearts, this boy, I tell you. Right, now let me zoom you in because it's important you can see what I'm doing. And we've got lovely light today because obviously it is daylight. Great. Okay. Oh, lost you all completely then. So the very first thing I'm going to do, now I'm not expecting anybody else has got this, but I've got my Daniel Smith golden gesso here, which is just yummy. And I'm going to use this first and a knitting needle. And I'm just going to pop some little moments of gold on my black background. Some little ones, some big ones, putting some that are going to be together, like so. Okay, like this, like that. All right, and then I'm going to get my finger and I'm going to blur them out. And a lot of what I'm going to do to make this galaxy effect is going to be about putting on colour and then blurring it out. Stars, when we see them, very rarely are in their pinpricked, beautiful form. They are normally actually this kind of blurry state, but they have got some definition. So that's done. My gesso, my black gouache is already nice and dry. So now we're going to get some deliciousness with some chalk pastels. So what I'm going to do is start in one corner with my pink and then put another one down there, and then just massage that right in the middle of it to start off with, and then make your circle a bit bigger and then blow. Okay, next colour, let's go for this blue now. So same thing, I'm going to kind of start a little bit off the centre of the blue one. Little scratching of blue pastel. So I'm not drawing with the pastel, I'm just getting some of the chalk off. Smudge it and then make your circle with your finger. So smudge it, then make a spiral with your finger. That's what I was looking to say, a spiral. Let's have a bit of orange. So another location. So I'm going to start off the side of that pink and off here. Smudge it, then make it slightly bigger. Smudge it, make it slightly bigger. Yellow now. Get some of the pastel off. Get some of the pastel off. Smudge it, make it slightly bigger. Smudge it, make it slightly bigger. You see? There you go. My son will come home and he'll go, doesn't look like a galaxy. Now I want one more colour. I want like a dark, what do I want? Maybe some more pink. And on this one, I'm going to put it in, and this one and only this one is going to be a spiral. The other ones you create the spiral with your finger, right? This one is different. And now I'm going to pat all of that out to soften it all out. That then needs to set for a bit. Okay? We can get a bit of a tissue. Just lay that down. I want that to set for a bit because I'm going to come back into that with a white pen in a minute. But look at that already, look. Nice galaxy, right? Let's come back to our shell. Now it's not completely dry yet, not at all, but more of that paint has soaked in. And so what I can do now, just gently lay my tissue over. And what I love about using this tissue is you get this lovely mottled effect, you see? So we're going to come back to the watercolours again. I seem to have put my blue colours somewhere. There they are. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my watercolours again, pretty much the same colours. However, I'm going to use them as dry as I can. So I'm going to come back in with this brown. Can you see that I've not dipped in my water? I'm kind of using this as dry as I possibly can, almost to the point where it's like an acrylic paint. You'll need to use a little bit, but you don't need to use a lot. And I'm kind of doing exactly what I did before. So starting with these kind of shapes. Right down to the bottom. Drying my brush off this time. Let's come in with this dark blue. Bands of dark blue. Maybe put some in between that brown. And of course, when this dries, you'll see all of those yummy layers that we had before, because watercolour is what it is and it likes to show all the underneaths. Now this time I'm going to add my pink at this stage. I'm going to do exactly the same as I did before with my pink, which is splattering it on. Add a little bit in the tip, because now what I want to do is add white. Remember this white kind of shiny bit at the bottom of a shell. Right, and we can maybe have some white around these lines as well, just to show the highlights. Like that. And then I want to put some like barnacle-y bits on it. And so I'm going to start with a green. And I'm just going to dot, 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 and kind of come out my shell a little bit. And then a bit of brown, dot, 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 dot. Patting it off between layers. And some white. Now I'm not sure whether I am going to be able to come on camera and show you the pen work, but I will try, maybe do that tomorrow at the end of my live tomorrow. In fact, that's what I'll do. I will do the pen work of this shell tomorrow, because at this stage where I've got all of these layers and all of this gunk and all of this grunge going on this lovely shape, it needs now time to rest and dry. So I'm going to add some of this pale blue, lovely turquoisey ocean blue. Just add that in. That's great for me. I'm done. I'm sorted with my shell. I think all I want to do is add some splatters of paint hither and thither, just because it's nice to have a little bit of markage. So that's going to dry. I'll put a real shell next to it. Not bad, hey, with all those layers. Once that's dried down, you're going to see all those layers. You're going to love it. Let's finish off this one, and then we've finished day 12 and 13, was it? Or 13 and 14? 13 and 14. Let me find my white pen and my white charcoal. So let your chalk sit before you come and attack them with a pen. Have a little bit of paper to one side. What have I got? Now you remember that I talked to you earlier about the pinpricks of stars. That's what we're going to do now, okay? So just little tiny dots of white in and amongst these galaxies. The reason that you get your pen going on here is to get that ink flowing. Don't get the ink flowing on the chalk, because it will dry your painter. Hello, Caden.
Hello.
How was your exam?
It was good.
Yeah?
Yes.
Nailed it?
I don't know. We'll see.
Finished early this time?
Yeah.
Scares me when he says he finishes early. Finger again. Smooch, smooch, smooch. Smooch the ones you can. Now, here we go. The big dots, and only the big dots. We're going to draw across, long point, down, slightly shorter point, along, and then come in with a diagonal. Get your tissue paper and just blot it. Same with this one. Long, long, slightly shorter, shorter still. Get your tissue paper, blot it out. And then the very final thing to do is, if you've got a gold paint anywhere in your life, or maybe you could do this with gold leaf, just the centre of those two big ones that we've just done, give them a little bit of gold. And that's it. There's your galaxies. Two little Aurora galaxies. We've got this old thing coming along. We'll let that finish. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? Just because I've got my Daniel Smith here and just because I love it so much, I'm going to put a little bit of this gold gesso just to be outrageous with it. I'm going to use my knitting needle just to create some lines in here, maybe it also in this, where this was, almost like it's the light just hitting the edge of my shell, maybe in here as well. Yum yum pig's bum. Do you know, this Daniel Smith gesso has probably lasted me about 15 years. I love it that much. There you go. Now, tomorrow is day 15. I will be on in the evening. Tomorrow is Heartbeat. Can't wait to do that one. I will also finish off this one with some pen work. This one is done. That can go in my book. There you go. Day 13 and 14 done. You get on with it. All right? See you soon.